Hey everyone, you are live on Brofessor BATS and Friends. Here we go. Boom! Coming to you live on this amazing Taco Tuesday. Joining with my BFF, Tony from Bats Off-Road. How you doing, Tony?
I'm good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Way up in Northwest Arkansas. Already got schools closed for tomorrow because Winter Wonderland is moving in again. Freaking again. Yeah. Oh, man. Chris, what's the weather like up there way up north?
Yesterday I was wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and up here in the north it now feels like the Arctic tundra. There's snow flurries. I think it's been around 18 or 20 degrees all day, and it's just harsh, cold wind.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Just brutal. I'll tell you what, it's been that way here as well. Shorts one day, snow jackets the next. It's just been unbelievable. It's messing with my sinuses, my lungs, messing with my attitude. It's just horrible. It's just a horrible, horrible time of the year. But anyway, we're not having to deal with that outside. We're all inside tonight, and I appreciate everybody joining us on the show this evening. Tony, we got something to talk about real quick. This trailer that you're building is just outrageous. Chris, you haven't seen this. This has not been made public.
No,
we're fixing to do
we haven't really
world premiere here. Tony's friend gave him a utility trailer. So we have a before picture. Tony has a before picture he wants to show you. And then we're going to show you what he's done to it. So he has morphed overnight into Tony the Fabricator. He's second cousin to Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
And so it is just an outrageous thing. So show us this trailer, Tony. This has got to be awesome. That's what he wrote.
Check it out.
Look at that. Okay. I mean, most people would see that and say, "I give up already."
Yeah,
that would be me.
I'm surprised you hooked that to that beautiful Gladiator.
Right.
And I would have just put it underneath it.
We drug it out of the weeds and looked everything over, and I mean I had to kind of chain it onto the bumper because the hitch wouldn't work, and I mean it was, but anyway.
Most of the time when you put it out there, does anybody have a trailer for sale and you have a buddy that says, "Hey, I got one, I'll give you," and you show up, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. So, I mentioned to my buddy Michael that I was thinking about building one, and he said, "Hey, I got this one out here. You can have it."
See, that would just make me worry. Instant worry.
Yeah.
But you have been working every afternoon, night and day in your garage shop thing, and you have done wonders on this thing, and I just can't believe what you've done to it. It's just been amazing. It don't even look like the same trailer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
That looks amazing. Now you still got a few things to do to it, right?
Oh yeah. I still got to finish sanding, doing the final paint and everything. The floor, I still got to do the floor and mount some of the boxes and stuff, the lights and the wiring, and then all of the accessories and stuff that I'm going to mount to it. But
now that's a pretty big difference in style from the one that you had before.
Yep.
So did you want a different style of trailer? Is that?
Well, I mean, the flyer didn't really meet all of our needs with three of us, our kids getting bigger, and it was hard for all three of us to sleep in there comfortably. It's good for two people, but three is pushing it. And we didn't really have a kitchen set up with the flyer. And so we kind of wanted just a little bit different setup, something that we could have a base camp. We really kind of missed having a base camp set up when we went to Big Bend. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, we went down there. Tony and Arla took both their Jeeps. Arla wanted to get in some riding time, driving time, and all that good stuff. And then we pulled our trailer down there. And every morning, me and Connie would get up, cook breakfast, and have our coffee ready. And we'd say, whenever y'all are ready, just let us know. Well, then they had to pull down their tents, and then they had to pack everything up. And they're like, man, a trailer sure would be nice right now.
Yeah.
And so that kind of put it in their mind, and came home, and I mean, he just immediately went to work.
Yeah. It's got 35-inch tires on it. It's got crazy ground clearance. So it's.
I took my FJ up there and we put a lift on it the day that he got those tires in, and those tires on his trailer make my tires on my FJ look like a stinking go-kart. I mean, It's unbelievable. I don't even want to park beside it. It's humiliating to me.
Wow.
So
anyway,
but it'll ride perfect behind that Gladiator. It'll just be awesome. It'll look good, and I know you're going to enjoy it. I'm just super impressed with that. I just wanted to show everybody that because I'm just super impressed with that.
That's the first time I've attempted anything like that, so it's been a good experience.
Yeah, I've been enjoying watching the birth of it all and how it's morphed into from a baby to a young man.
Yeah,
and it's amazing.
Today I've been working on my awning mounts. I'm going to have awning mounts that extend and everything, so keep it low profile.
Tony, the fabricator. Tony, when you open your shop up, I would highly recommend that you put a booth in more.
Yeah.
Yep, I may do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got trailers galore. I think the count is over 30 trailer dealers or manufacturers coming in.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Every time I turn around, there's a new exhibitor coming on. It's a trailer or somebody, and it's like.
And Tony, Chris, you just bought the new Sniper X, and Tony and I will both have homemade trailers, but and it doesn't do them any good, the manufacturers stuff, but I love looking at them. I love looking at them and getting ideas off of them and seeing everything that went into it, because those things are a work of art. I mean, it's incredible to look at. It's crazy.
What's cool about these guys that are, the manufacturers of these trailers is they started out by, and I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, and we have several in the show. It's like, hey, we just started building these trailers and our friends liked them, so we built them one, and their friends liked them, so we built them one.
Yeah.
And now we're doing it full time, and now I've got 5 employees, and it all kind of starts out like that. So walking up to any of those guys and saying, hey, do you mind if I look around? I'm getting some ideas. I like your design. They're just going to be, tickled pink about that. So
yeah, I just got off the phone right before we got on with Jeff Kubiak, and I was picking his brain. I love picking his brain, and from Badac Adventure Co. And he's going to have a booth in More Expo, and had one at Big Iron as well. And he's just got all these ideas, and I think something up, but then I run it by him, and then I'm like, I didn't think I would have never thought of that, because I'm not like Tony. I'm not a fabricator. So, it's,
I just love tinkering in the garage. It's fun.
Tinkering in the garage. That's not tinkering in the garage. I mean, you're running welders and you're painting stuff. And I mean, you're creating something from nothing. You saw that trailer that you brought home. That was nothing. And now you've got something.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy cool. Well, Chris, you have been on some pretty cool adventures here recently. You went out west. When was that? I remember seeing the pictures.
Let's see. That would have been a big trip. So Michigan for core, and then heading west. So I think that was like September 18th through, I think I got home September 30th or somewhere right in there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know you went. I know you went up to Core, and then right after Core, you headed out west. Tell us what are some of the highlights of that trip? I just love seeing the pictures of that trip you went out west.
Well, Core is amazing. Just the location that's at is incredible. You're on Lake Superior, and there's a reason it's called Lake Superior because it's bad. It's cool. You've got, it's big enough. There's waves crashing.
Joshua.
There's freighters driving by. You can drive out to the point and see the freighters coming through. It's absolutely incredible, the history behind it and just the sheer beauty. So that trip is amazing. And then the 17-hour drive, I think is what it was, 17 hours straight from Upper Michigan to Green River, Utah. That was incredible. And somebody just sent me an email. Hey, watching you live. So like, thanks. I'm distracted now. So getting out to Moab, that part of Utah, it was incredible. I've never been out there, and I was lucky to go with Rob from Revere Overland. And he had a whole nother trip in mind that he was going on. And then it was funny during the conversation when I said, yeah, I've never been out there. He said, you know what? Forget what I was doing. I could do that anytime, but it's not very often. I got to take somebody out here that's never been. And him and I went, I think it was 450 miles. The majority of it off-road. We hit pavement a couple times, but we went from Green River, Utah, all the way to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. It was incredible. And I mean, just that's a place to go. If you've never been there, it's like being on the moon.
Yeah.
And then you get into a mountain and you're up in the trees. And then before you know it, you're in a canyon or near a river that's coming through. It's like unbelievably fast how much all that changes while you're driving through it.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. I loved all the pictures that you posted. Of course, anything in that stretch, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, it's hard to find a bad spot. It really is. And for those of us who live way out east that do not get to go out that way very much, every time we close our eyes at night, that's what we dream about. So for those of you who live out there, man, you're living in a dream world. Now, we got some good spots over here in the Ozarks and the Ouachitas and all that, but to get out there to the big sky country and the wide open spaces, it's beautiful. And Matt Fry, appreciate you being on.
Hey, man.
From Fry's on the Side. He's going to be he will also be at More. We had him on the show last week. Such a good dude. Really enjoyed visiting with him. He's excited about More, as everybody else is. Everybody is just really looking forward to it. I think I think changing it from February to April, between February and April, people are just going to get antsy because they're used to being there now. And, they're used to More being like right now or a week ago or whatever. And, the hype is there and they're like, man, it's going to seem like forever for April to get here. This is killing me.
I've heard that a couple of times. Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee you, because, when you put out something that good. Yeah. Porker's out in West Virginia, way out east. Try my way out east. Yeah. You're about as far east as I've ever been.
I can't say that I didn't love West Virginia as much as I love the desert. I think it's so beautiful out there, right where he's at.
Yeah.
Just absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, the New River Gorge area.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, Porker just discovered last week that he will be coming in to More as well.
Cool.
He is so excited about that. He is going to be in the Rhino Rack booth with Tony, and he's super pumped about getting his new Tacoma in there. So we're excited about him coming out, and we're going out there to visit him next month on spring break. We're going to go out there and let him show us around to some of the places that we've never seen. 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. My gosh, I swear,
Man.
it's just coming up on us quick.
But yeah,
Well, I want to talk about more Expo and get into. We have several things that we want to cover, but this time during the show, as always, just right into it. We always do a sponsor spotlight, and so we want to highlight one of our sponsors. And guess who it is this week? Guess who it is, Tony? Guess who it is?
More Expo.
Could be More Expo. We're going to talk about More Expo. Here we go.
It's now time for the Sponsor Spotlight, talking about all the products, services, events, and businesses that we use and love. Here we go.
Well, Chris, you've been good to us ever since I started this show, and always been super supportive of us trying to get the word out there about More Expo, and we have loved doing that. Absolutely loved doing that.
Yep.
Way back in 2020, when it all began, and you had half of the fairgrounds there, the little indoor fairgrounds, and I remember seeing how amazing just that one part of the building was, and seeing people show up out of the woodwork to come in there who were eager to just see anything and everything. And I remember after that, More 21, you put together a video, and this is what it looked like.
So
Nice.
good.
So good. I mean, that brings back so many good memories of More 21, and man, I tell you what, it was was that actually from 2020 and the advertisement for 21. What was that video?
Yep. That
Okay,
was
I
the
thought
one
that's
that
what was right.
Black Elk shot in 2020, and then about halfway through the year, we announced it rather than as a recap video. We used it as a promo video for 2021. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was what it was. It was I love it. It's perfect timing, perfect ending, perfect. I mean, it's just everything. I just absolutely loved it. So I wanted to show that right here when we started talking about More 22 coming up. And you have got so much new stuff to talk about that's going to be coming up. Very first thing right off the bat is going to be the S'more to More S'more to More Overland Rally presented by Midland. So what is this, and what is the reason behind the S'more to More Rally?
So everybody that knows about S'more knows what an incredible off-road park that is, and it would be a catastrophe to not include them in More Expo. Obviously, Brandon's a friend of mine. You know, they're a business associate, they're friends, they're family. So I wanted to get them involved, and I sat out at Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch with Brandon Powell, the owner, and we talked and thought, how do we make it interesting enough to drive 45-50 minutes from More Expo out to Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't have enough attraction as it is. And you know, I just thought, yeah, that hour drive on the highway isn't the most romantic thing. Why don't we look at a map? So we pulled the map out, and man, you know what? We could make a pretty cool route series out of these old goat roads and farm roads that goes down through some beautiful areas and spits you out just south of Springfield, where you can pop right into the fairgrounds. And it was like, all right, yeah, let's go with that. So, we came up with the name, the S'more to More route, because that's what it is. And it really took off. It was huge. It was originally designed as a convoy trip where, we had 3 different convoys per day going, a to and a from, and then one in between. And the first year it was huge. We had convoys of 30 rigs riding through, all these back roads and then through Nixon, Missouri, which 30 was pushing it. That's getting pretty big for a convoy. If you guys have ever been on these group rides,
Yeah.
And then you get 2021 that comes up, and unfortunately we had to cancel it. We had to abort that mission because the ice on the back roads was so bad. Like, we sent people out to go run it, and they had to call back in like, hey, we're not going to be able to come back and tell you it's bad. Don't send anybody out here. It's dangerous. So that was unfortunate, but we had 60 rigs per convoy registered on that.
Wow.
So that would have been a learning experience, and it would have taught us the valuable lesson that that's too many rigs to put into a convoy. So fast forward to now, we got to keep this thing alive. We love it. Everybody loves it. It's a lot of fun to do. It's great for taking pictures. It's great for bringing people in who aren't familiar with the area, so they can kind of get a feel for what it's like down in that southern Missouri, part of the state. It's also great for people that are new and, don't necessarily want to go, using lockers and scratching and tearing stuff up. This is a scenic route. So how do we keep it alive, and how do we keep it safe, and how do we keep it fun for everybody? We make it into an individual type event where vehicles travel on their own individually. They're not relying on a convoy leader. They're relying on a map and working their way through it. We'll send one out of the gate, and then we'll separate in between. We've actually got 2 routes that are coming out of each gate, so you don't know which route you're going to get, which book, and it kind of lets you know you can't really just follow the person in front of you if you want to do it accurately and earn your prizes. So we decided, let's make this into a rally. We're going to make a rally book. I got the rally software that Dakar and Rebel Rally and lots of these others use. And we went out and ran the routes down in southern Missouri and plugged them into the software, and it spits out a really cool turn-by-turn direction kind of book for us. And then I can enter any kind of challenges or questionnaires or communication check-in points that we need to along the way. So we'll have things like, there's a mid-60s car parked on the side of the road with a hood growing, or a tree growing through the hood. What's the brand of it? Stuff like that. I use that as an example. I don't know if we actually have that on there, but there's simple stuff. We'll get you at a 4-way turn, and there won't be an arrow pointing which direction you need to go. So it'll just say go north. So you got to know which way north is. We'll have places where you need to pull in and radio in and check in, use your Midland radios, so that way we know where you're at, and we'll give you a code to write in your book, so that way we know you checked in. Just fun things like that. So we wanted to do this so bad, but there was no way it was ever going to happen. It's quite an undertaking. There's a lot involved, and it needs to be advertised. It needs to be promoted. People need to know about it. With people signing up to do something like this, we need to make event shirts for it. We need to make, I completed the S2M rally patches. there's a lot that goes into this behind the scenes. So in talking with Midland Radio, Midland had a fantastic year, their first year at More Expo, and enjoyed it. They helped us out with radio communications for all the staff. And we wanted to get them involved. They're right here. They're local, headquartered in Kansas City. It's not more than a 15-minute drive from my house.
Wow.
So I was able to visit with Andrew about it. Andrew's their director of marketing. I'm gonna get it wrong. He's gonna text me right now. Watch. So I was able to talk to Andrew about this, and Andrew invited me to come out and meet the owners of Midland Radio, which was really fantastic. So they gave me the opportunity to run this S'more to More Overland rally by the bigwigs over there, and they love the idea. Dan, the owner of Midland Radio, as a matter of fact, used to do rallies with little British sports cars. So he knew exactly what I was talking about as soon as I brought it up and wanted to get in on it. So it's really nice that we're able to do this. It's made possible by Midland Radio. So I want to give that plug out there. Couldn't be more grateful for those guys. And what's cool is complete the route properly and, hit your mileage where it needs to be, answer the questions correctly. And they're giving out radios. So we're going to grade these books when everybody turns them in. And Midland's giving out, they've got Midland products and more. We're just working on the and more, but I mean, it's Midland Radio. They've got more connections in this industry than I know of. So I'm excited to see what they're bringing in for all this. It's going to be fantastic.
Okay, so what does somebody that is out there, they're seeing this advertised about the S'more to More rally, what do they do to have to participate? What do they do to participate?
So in order to participate, jump online on the More Expo website, and we've got a tab on the website that says S2M Overland Rally. Jump on there. There are 2 places on that tab where you can register for the rally. When you register, we'll take some basic information. There's a deal that you've got to sign on there, a release of liability. But we're also going to get some information. We need your shirt size so we can hook you up with one of the shirts. It's $20 to register. Everybody that registers gets a navigation book, which is cool. It's going to be the collector's item, the very first navigation book. You'll have a T-shirt. You'll have a collector's patch. And VIP parking at the More Expo. So our parking's a little bit different. We had to, with the growth and the use of the outdoor space, we had to kind of commandeer the west side parking lot. So that's a piece of property that's shared with the zoo. So we had to grab it. But we've still got enough room to put some parking out in front. So we created VIP parking for S'more to More registrants. So,
that's awesome.
If you think about it, I guess you're paying $20.
Yeah, for parking.
Yeah, for parking.
And all the rest
and then
is
you
just
also
bonus.
get a shirt and a patch and a chance to win a Midland Radio. And, so
and
awesome.
go on a cool rally and
and you get to go on this awesome rally. So
can you do it? Can you do it any day that you're there? Is there a set day that you have to do this?
You can do it any day that you're there. We put in the registration, we're asking which days you plan on running it. That just helps us for planning, but it's not super critical. So if you get there on Friday and you were planning on running it Friday and you're thinking, man, I'm just having such a good time at More, or I'm out wheeling at S'more, let's do the rally tomorrow. Cool. No problem. Great. There's There will be booths where you can turn in the rally book to be graded, or there will be an address on the back of the rally book that you can just mail it right into, and then we can grade it that way. Okay. So there's set hours for when those booths are open. That'll be on the More Expo website. But yeah, you can.
Awesome. Well, how long do you think it would take somebody? So if I'm planning my day on Friday and I want to go to s'more half a day or more half a day, how long do you anticipate normally that this would take somebody to do the s'more to more?
If you run the route, stop at Kay's General Store and grab a sandwich or a slice of pizza halfway through, maybe stop and take a couple photos and run the correct speed, you'll come in right under 4 hours.
4 hours. Well, it's less than half a day. So that's not something. So if you're traveling from a long ways away and you want to spend a lot of time, or you want to spend some days at More, you want to spend some days at s'more, whatever, you're not allocating a whole day. So this is just part of your day. And I think it's cool that you actually do an overlanding event at an overlanding event. It's just not something that you show up to and shop or get ideas off of. It's actually, you can actually do some overlanding stuff while you're there, which I think it's a huge bonus. That's just, going to be for a lot of people. I think they're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Well, what is, let's see, you advertised today on your Facebook page, Midland, who is actually sponsoring the s'more to more route, is actually giving away one of their new radios as a giveaway. So I thought that was pretty cool that they're stepped up even more and taking, they're getting involved even more in the More Expo. Yeah. And, giving away a radio. So that's cool. How can somebody get on there and win this radio?
Jump on the Facebook page. We just posted. There's a link that'll take you, and you can register via with your email address. There's a couple ways you can share and tag to get entered to win, and what you can win is an MXT 500. It's about a $400 setup. So we'll announce the winner for that shortly before the expo, so that way the winner will have time to get it mounted into the vehicle. Awesome. So that way they can use it. Yeah.
Nice.
So the days that you can do it would be Friday and Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
We've got it set up Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I'm sorry. No. Etch a sketch that.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
Friday,
more sense.
Saturday,
Okay.
Sunday.
All right. Well, excellent. Well, you did a little snippet. You did a little video on your Instagram, and I swiped that. I'm a good thief of stuff like that. I only got about a minute of it, but I want to show everybody what you sat down and did.
So the s'more to more Overland Rally presented by Midland Radio is about a 70-mile track that'll take you from Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch all the way into Springfield, Missouri, so that way you can attend the More Expo. We wanted to create something that would be a lot more fun to drive rather than just jumping on the highway. So if you're camping out at s'more, you've got a scenic ride to come into the expo, or you can go from the expo and work your way southeast to get back to Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch, where they'll have a big fire. Camping out there is going to be awesome. It's a beautiful campground. You're going to love that.
And that's all I got. But just wanted to give everybody, that's all Instagram would give me was 1 minute. And I argued with them, but they wouldn't.
We talk. I can send you these videos.
I know, but it was something. I was sitting around today and I saw that video and I was like, man, that's good. I need that. I need to use
that's cool.
that. But I wanted to show that to everybody so that you would see about what it looked like. And you see that you don't have to be like Tony and have a Gladiator with 47-inch tires to do this route. I mean, it's not a rock crawling route. It's a fun route with a map, and you'll have a great time, scenic views. And they also, and what I didn't realize about all the stuff that they do at S'more at night during the Moore Rally, I had no idea that they did all that with the bonfire and all that stuff. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's a good time. If you can campfire hop and have a great time, like I like to do whenever I go to these events.
Yes, you do.
That's always fun.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have a hard time standing around a campfire and not making friends, so that's always fun. And yeah, they'll burn it up. Last year was a cold year, but Brandon still brought tractor loads of trees up, and they got that thing rolling. So yeah, come on out.
Well, I think it was posted today. There's not a whole lot of electric sites left. So if you're planning on staying at S'more, reserve your spot today. They only have limited spots, and we want to make sure that everybody gets one of those who wants one. So I wanted to put that out there to make sure and get your spot at S'more if you plan on staying there. So the S'more to Moore route starts at S'more, right?
Or more.
Or more. So you can do it either way.
Direction.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. Okay, so that's good information that we're putting out there.
So
pick up your booklet at either place, and you can go out the gate.
Do you register at either place, or if you're planning on running it from S'more to Moore, do you register at Moore and then?
So I feel like we've thought of everything here. Midland Radio actually has a manned booth at S'more.
Nice.
So you can check in and register at the Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch, or you can check in at the Midland booth, S'more to Moore registration, which is right in front of the entrance to the indoor part of Moore Expo.
Nice.
So you won't miss it when you're walking up. That's for sure.
Nice.
Very cool.
Plenty of signage. So yeah, you'll be able to get registered at either place. Now, for everybody that's listening, keep in mind it is an online registration. So if you're better off to register now online, and we can tailor it however we need to then. If you come up to the booth to register at either location, they're going to direct you to a QR code that you'll scan with your phone. It'll take you right to the registration website. You'll register online and show them your phone that you're registered, and that's how you do it. So
awesome.
there won't be a cash option to get the registration book on anything.
Awesome.
So just fair heads up on that.
Yeah, well, Matthew Fry said, "Is it April yet?" We're going to get that a lot. Everybody's ready for it to be here. Don't wish your life away, but there's two good things about April. It's spring. Everything's turning green. It's warming up a little bit, and there's more expo. So it's a perfect time of the year.
Yeah, and don't look a gift horse in the mouth here. I mean, every day that we have between now and Moore Expo means the show's just going to go a little bit smoother because I've had time to figure this out, or I've had time to work that into it. So yeah. We're always finding new ways to enhance the attendees experience for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, Kara, thanks for joining us. The one year I needed more in February. I'm not going to ask why, but we love you, Kara, and love your new fuchsia colored Jeep. So it's going to be cool. We'll see it there. Okay, so one of the other things that you have added this year that is completely new, something that I'm sure you were laying in bed one night and thought, oh man, this would be cool, is the recovery room with Overland Addicts. So tell us about what's going to be going on and what we can expect from that.
That's going to be a great time. We've got a huge space. It's a 30 by 100, I believe, space in the north part of the East Hall. That's a mouthful.
That's a lot of directions. If you don't know your directions, you won't be good with S'more to Moore Rally. So if you didn't get that, I wouldn't register.
I wouldn't hang out in the recovery room too long.
Yeah, the north part of the East Hall, you won't know where in the world you're going. So
a rabbit hole. So, so Chad approached me and said, "Hey, I'd like to be more involved in Moore Expo, and I'd like to find a great way to give back to the community. How can we create a really good time? And I'll help support it." and it was like, man, it was a no-brainer. I was like, Chad, let's get a lounge area figured out with some live music and some TV screens that are rolling, off-road videos and, just a really fun place to hang out, and we'll attach your booth to it. So we drew it out, and we came up with the name that we wanted for it, and kind of decided how we were going to promote it and talk about it and what we were going to do in there. And it all it came together so well. My dad would say it came together like a metaphor. So we got all that put together, and what it's going to be is, while you're at More Expo, hustle and bustle, everything's grooving. You just want a place to go kind of hang out, mingle, do some networking, sit down, rest your feet, enjoy your lunch. You can bring your food in there, grab a cocktail, a good adult beverage, and listen to some killer music. We've got live music that's going every day, I think from noon to 5 in there.
Oh, nice.
And Chad's wife actually booked all of the bands for it. Leanne, she's awesome. She said, no, leave that to me. I got it. And she killed it. I saw the lineup. I know all of them. I'm excited about that. So a lot of great talent in there playing. It's going to be a really good time. And, promoting it was fun. So if anybody hasn't been on the on the More Expo website and seen the recovery room tab, we went out and shot about 20 videos on how to make easy campfire cocktails. And we smashed them all down in 3-minute videos, and they're all on there on the website. They go right to the YouTube channel, but just
speaking of that, I have a little snippet of one. Here's
all right,
a little
cool.
taste of what it looks like.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode where we show you guys how to make the perfect camp cocktail. I know a lot of people like to just throw a case of old garage beer in the back of the truck, and when they get to camp have one of those, but once in a while we can be a little bit fancier and really just kind of enjoy ourselves. That's what this is all about. So I'm happy to introduce my friend Chad. How are you, buddy?
What's up, bud? Good to see you.
Good. Chad's with Overland Addict out of Nixa, Missouri. Full Overland outfitter. They've got a store, an amazing website, a wealth of knowledge. And now, when you swing by the store, you'll probably be able to make you one of these cocktails.
Might make a drink for somebody.
So, yeah. Well, what are we making, Chad?
We're gonna make the Brooklyn today, and it's got a little rye whiskey, some vermouth, a little bit of bitters, and some maraschino liquor. Real easy to make. All right, guys, so let's get into this drink. We're gonna start off with our liquor here. So normally this is made with a rye whiskey, but we're out camping and we don't have that, so we got bourbon, so that's what we're gonna use.
Works for me.
It's gonna work, yeah.
It works for me. Well, I would have never guessed that, Chris. Tell me, what is garage beer? I think that is a term that I have not heard up until this point.
You don't have a garage?
I do have a garage.
It's beer that you keep in your garage.
I do have some of that, so I guess I know what it is. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay.
Well, for me, garage beer is it's hardly ever purchased by me. It's usually I'm out in the garage and a buddy swings by and he's got a case and we have a few of them, and whatever it is gets left in the fridge, and that eventually adds up and you get 42 different kinds of beer in there, and it's just all right. We're going
that's camping. The best kind that somebody else buys. You don't have to buy yourself.
You just load the cooler up with your Heinz 57 of flavors of beer, and off you go.
And that happens. That really, really happens. That's not just something that you made up. So I love that. That's just amazing. So
that's right.
That's pretty cool. So what do people have to do? Is there an entrance? Do you have to show ID? What do you have to do to get into the recovery room?
You'll have to show ID to purchase alcohol drinks. Other than that, we want every aspect of More Expo to be family friendly. We don't want anybody to feel like they can't come because their kids won't be welcome. That's not even close to the case. You know, I'm a father, and I've been to places where it's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to bring the kids, so I'm just not going to go.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to feel like that. So, yep. Get the kids on the dance floor like it's a wedding, you know? I
Yeah.
want to see
That'd
that.
be fun.
Yeah.
There's no credentials. Just come in and sit. You know, people will come, people will go. It'll kind of be like the tea table and in Alice in Wonderland, I guess. You know, people
Right.
just stop
Right.
by and kind of lose time.
Yeah.
Well, and for those out there who might be worried about, you know, serving liquor or whatever alcohol at this thing, you've always been able to buy alcohol there.
That's true. Yeah.
You've always been able to buy alcohol there, so it's not anything new. It's just going to be a different experience where you can get it. So I think it's very creative. I think a lot of people like it. It'll be a neat spot. Be a neat spot, especially with the bands there. We'll be in the opposite hall, so you know. And I don't think the first or second year I got to see any of the bands because I've been working a booth every year that I've been there. I don't get to wander around a whole lot. So
Tell me about it. I'm telling you what. One of these days when we're old, we'll get to go to the show.
yeah, I just want to go. I just want to go. And this year, Tony is actually going to be in a booth. Last year, he actually got to go to the show, but this year it's going to be a completely different experience for him. He's going to be in the Rhino Rack, and I'm going to be in the Artemis booth right across the hall, right across the pathway from each other. So we'll be hanging out, but there's got to be that time where we just say, okay, finally, it's slowed down a little bit. Let's go disappear for a minute and go check out all these other booths because you just got to walk around. You got to see it all because it's amazing. It's just so stinking cool.
Every time you turn around, you see something new and cool, and it's such an amazing experience.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. And on top of the 100,000 square feet indoors, you now have vendors outside. You've even grown past the walls. So you've got so much interest in this that you've had to create more space. So tell us about what's going to be outside.
I'm excited about the outdoor vendor space. There is an amazing barbecue restaurant right as soon as you walk out the door. So stop in there, grab a soda and a barbecue sandwich or whatever it may be. You know, when you're done with lunch out there, you can walk over into the outdoor vendor area. The first thing that you're going to see when you walk into the outdoor vendor area is Quiet Cat e-bikes, and they'd love to talk to you and they'd love to let you ride one of the bikes. They're bringing a fleet. Typically, they bring a fleet of about 10 or 15 bikes when they go to these events, and I told them bring them. So what's cool is the outdoor vendor area is designed. It's a perfect square, 1,200 linear feet, so 300-foot square, and we fence it off outside to keep the honest people honest in the night. But what we've done is we've made the fence a little bit larger than the vendor areas. So when you want to demo an e-bike, you'll be able to ride around the entire perimeter of the outdoor vendor area, which would be kind of cool. I just thought it would be fun, you know, to be riding by on a bike and see your buddy, or, you know, hey, look at that idiot riding by. You see him? Yeah. So that'll
You're
be cool.
too fat to ride a bike. Get off the bike.
Stand there with a stick and just right in the spokes. So did you guys see that bully out there wrecking people on their bikes?
He's a bully.
So, you know, the first thing you'll see out there is people riding around on the e-bikes, which is going to be a blast. That's fun. I've got one of the Quiet Cat bikes, and it's a monster. So give that a shot, and then as you come in, you're going to be looking right down the row of our storytellers and influencers showcase, which we've got about a 20 foot wide by 300 foot long space that will have just people that I feel are influential in the industry in the Midwest. I feel like these people are the good storytellers who help, get people educated, but make sure that people are comfortable. For people that are newer to this or just getting into it, we need people like our storytellers that are, saying, hey, don't be scared. It's not crazy. Or in some instances, be scared. Don't do that. It's crazy, right? So
Don't do what I did.
Yeah.
it's a great spot. So, Tony, you've got a spot. We'll have one of your vehicles sitting out there. Joey, we may stick one of your rigs in there, the FJ, even though you'll be in the Rhino Rack booth telling stories all day. So Matt and Kara from Ozark Overland Adventures are going to be there. Many others. Nick with Rogue Overland's coming in.
Awesome.
We've got a family that just does the van life thing and have been for a while, full time. So they'll be in, if anybody has questions about what's it like living in a van with, you and your wife and your kid. So if you want to hear more stories and lies about how great that is.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, so
I live in a van with my 4 kids, and it's awesome. Yeah, don't believe another word
awesome.
they say.
I'm always happy. I have plenty of privacy. No, I live in a van with my 4 kids, and I'm extremely patient. Yeah, Misty will be there.
Lady Overland.
Yeah, Lady Overland Radio, and geez, I mean, Matt with Fries on the Side's got a spot in there. If there's anybody I'm missing, you can't get mad at me because I also have to know everything else. But if anybody wants to see who's out there, jump on the More Expo website, and there's a storytellers tab that'll show you the majority of them. We've got more that need to be added. The Budget Overland guys are going to be out there if you want to talk to them. Powers 4x4 will be out there. Fletch from All Things Overland's going to have a place out there.
Awesome.
So, yeah, and that list continues to grow. So
you'll
see that. Once you're done talking to them, you'll have access to 50 exhibitors outside. So the majority of them that are out there are new to More Expo. A lot of them are new to doing any kind of trade shows for this space, outdoor or anywhere. So it'll be good to see them. We'll have a ton of trailers, some off-road parts, skids, bumpers, sliders. Alpha X USA is out there with the headlights and so much more. It's just it's incredible.
That's cool. Well, if it's been too long or you have forgotten what it looks like, here's just a little taste of what More 2021 looked like. There's me trying to get my rig set up.
You're making nasty.
You cooking bacon, ain't you?
Good aerial shot there. This is of the West Wing. So that was where that was. Another one of the West Wing. We had so many good pictures taken, so many good rigs. Red Ark's going to be there again. This was outside. I think was that Ford?
Ram.
Dodge Ram. That's right.
Yeah.
Dodge Ram had a thing set up outside. This was back in the back hall. Do you have anybody in that back hall again this year?
Oh, yeah. We didn't miss a lick on space. Last year, it was Artemis Overland Hardware. They had the entire spot, which is about 10,000 square feet. This year, it is Adventure Motors, Red Ark, Method Race Wheels, Ironman 4x4, Long Range America.
Whoops. Went too far.
Don't go too far.
No.
Went too far.
Never go too far. Long Range America, Opus. So
awesome.
That's a solid amount of really cool manufacturers that you you don't want to miss.
That's cool.
Yep.
Patrick said he'll be coming in from Minnesota. Man, that's awesome. That'd be a good drive down from Minnesota. Love hearing all the accents of people that come by the booth and talk to us, because there's one of every kind, and love to speak to the Minnesota guys that come down from there. So know he's listening. We appreciate you joining in on us. Also outside, and Kara brings it up, and Kara, you must have read my mind, because she said where the class is going to be this year. I know you've got Moore has done such a great job of not just being a place where you go, but it's also been educational in offering classes. So what have you got as far as classes, and where will they be held this year?
Education is one of the critical pillars of what makes this event a success, and you can see that by the attendance to each one of these classes. We make sure that we vet and bring in true experienced professionals that are educating and giving the best advice that we believe possible. None of that is possible without Switchback Outdoor Safety. Aaron Paris, the first year, it was funny. The first year we, as More Expo, we booked all the classes and everything. And I realized quickly how busy I was, and that there was no way I could manage that. Aaron's booth was right outside of the seminar room, and he jumped right in and said, "Chris, whatever you need, I got it. Give me the schedule, I'll take it." He was able to let instructors know, hey, you got 5 minutes left, and move people in and out and announce classes and everything. So after that, I said, Aaron, you just got yourself a job, buddy. You are in. So that relationship has grown a ton, and we've actually got some stuff in the works with Switchback Outdoor Safety. If you could imagine what kind of tricks I have up my sleeve.
I can't imagine.
That will hopefully be announced a little bit later in the year. But we've got, I believe we have 18 hours of class time being taught, and everything will be directly across from the main entrance to the indoor facility. So the building is called the Beef Quarters. It's normally a restaurant. We commandeer it. We put in a huge screen and projector and classroom tables, and there'll be notepads in there so everybody can take notes as they wish. Schedule will be posted in plenty of places, but if you want to know what classes there are, jump on the website. The course schedule tab will give you a heads up, so that way you can plan ahead and you can know, hey, at 3:00, I don't want to miss this class, or Sunday at noon, there's a really good class. But we've got some awesome educators coming in. Kind of went out of the box on this one and pulled in some cooking classes and brought in some different levels of radio communications. We've got a ham radio expert coming in, the gentleman from Jason from Ham Radio 2.0. If you haven't seen his YouTube channel, he's a wealth of knowledge. So he'll be in teaching. Aaron with Switchback has got 3 or 4 classes that they're teaching as house classes that'll be phenomenal. Matt McClellan, as usual, knocking it out with the Gaia class, which is very popular because that is an intimidating platform to get involved in. A lot of us just kind of stumble through it, but Matt will show you how to fine tune it. So tons of classes. I'm excited for the next More Expo. We're gonna probably need a bigger space. We'll start having multiple classes going at the same time all day. So that's only gonna grow.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I'm just absolutely excited about all of it. I think it's just going to come together perfectly. I think the timing of the year is perfect. I'm just praying for 72 and sunny every day. And I think it'll just be magical. I think it'll be amazing. If you're on the fence out there about coming to this, You've got to give it a shot. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee you. It is. There's nothing else like it out there. Biggest indoor overlanding show that there is in the known world. And so, if it's not known, then we can't talk about it. So it's only the known world we can talk about.
That's
so right. it's I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So man, there it is. More now. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about Big Iron that's coming up in June. That's going to be something completely different, completely out of the ordinary, and will totally blow your mind. But we're going to take a break, give ourselves a little drink of water, and give you a break from listening to us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Barry Henderson with Turtleback Trailers.
I'm Adam with Okie Overland.
This is John with Long Creek Overland.
I'm Drew with Rock Squash Design. I'm Casey with US Action Track.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Misty from The Day We Were Made.
I'm Jeremiah from Overland Pioneer.
Hi, we're Jessica and Jorge, the Limerick Wanderers.
It's Chris from More Expo.
I'm Misty from Lady Overlander Radio.
You're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
You're watching.
Are watching.
You're watching.
And you're watching Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
Joey the Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
To the Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
Sponsored by Artemis Overland Hardware. More Expo, April 8th through the 10th, 2022 in Springfield, Missouri. Tack Farm, Blue Sail Coffee Roasters, Linson Solar, Howling Moon Tents and Awnings, Big Iron Overland Rally, June 10th through the 12th, Mountain Hatch, Lifesaver Water Filters, MC Ranch Overland, Snowmaster Frigid, EcoFlow, Timbo Tuss Scottles, Dial Dynamics Lighting, and our good friends at Midland Radio. Thank you for joining us. We're glad that you're here. No pros, just bros on this show. Here we go.
Well, I don't know. We may have to change that, Tony, now that you're a fabricator. Say no pros, just bros.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why is it only my head that's all distorted in the video?
You know, I
look
got
like
to
Hey
noticing that about how wide your head was. And I think while I was making that video, I thought I've just got to see more of Chris. He's just got to take up the whole screen. I can't just have a little Chris. I got to have more Chris.
I look like Hey Arnold.
Oh man. Well, you know, it brings up questions, and every time people ask questions, it's publicity. So
there we go.
When people talk about why is it Fathead Chris in there, I can say, well, you know, it's Chris from More Extra. He's a big deal. And so anyway, I just made that up. I don't know.
Now my head's getting bigger.
I'm talking smack. We want to talk about Big Iron Overland Rally. Tony and I went to this last year. It was the very first inaugural event. Had a super great time sitting in the shadows of the biggest earth mover I've ever laid eyes on in my life. And then the band started playing, and I felt like I was at the Bonnaroo of overlanding. It was just outstanding. What do you have planned this year for Big Iron?
This year is exciting. So we will likely have about twice the attendees. Ticket sales are tracking and getting there. Everybody keep in mind tickets are limited, so they will sell out this year. So a lot of people will have more food, more bigger, better food trucks. That's exciting. A different variety of all that. But with more attendees, we have the ability to afford bigger, better bands. So this year, we doubled our music budget. And if you thought the music was great last year, wait till you see what we've got in store for you this year.
Oh wow!
You know, it's a lot of fun to put something like this together and truly put the thought into it, because you know, a normal music festival, you can say, all right, this is a bluegrass festival and everybody that's coming likes bluegrass and they're all music festival goers, and that's that. But we're kind of a melting pot of personalities and different strokes of families and, different locations that we're all from. So putting together a music lineup that's the artists are good enough artists that, they're going to play originals and they're going to impress the crowd. So we really put in a lot of extra time to go out. And this is the hardest part of my job, going out and listening to bands and listening to live music. I mean, it's rough.
That's a rough job. Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it, And
you really need a sidekick. I mean, like a personal assistant, maybe a personal assistant to help you with that. There's no way you can get out there like you're supposed to.
I'll take applications. If anybody wants to come work with me, they can. Come on. Watch. Next time I go out, I'll have 20 people with me.
So have you booked everybody that you're planning on? Everybody you've got room for time wise?
It's all booked.
Wow.
I finalized the schedule today. We actually realized that we'd left one out. So yeah, we're overbooked.
Awesome. I love it.
That's a good thing. Hey, why not?
That's just typical for you.
We're just gonna start a little bit earlier in the day, so that's okay. But you've got live music from 2:00 in the afternoon to 11:00 at night on Friday. You've got with a killer headliner. We're bringing in the Hillbenders, so the Hillbenders will just be coming back off a huge tour that they're doing right now. They've been all over the West Coast. They've been through the Midwest. They've been in the East. They're a big band. They do some really cool covers. They're a bluegrass band. They knock out some. I was listening in the car. They did a cover of Pinball Wizard, which was incredible, and then they did another cover of The Hills, which was incredible too. But two totally different genres of music. So
and they sound like an overlanding band.
Yeah,
Hillbenders.
The Hillbenders.
I mean, why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So they're gonna knock it out of the park Friday night. But geez, I mean, we don't have a lesser lineup. I mean, I've got Braden Ball coming in from Nashville. We're featuring the Dirty Strings again. Just if anybody saw Doug DeCary Dance Monkey Dance, he was too good not to bring back. So we've got a couple that we brought back, but we made some significant changes elsewhere. And then Saturday, you've got live music from noon to 11 with a late night jam down at the Bucket again.
So we knew that was coming. We knew that was coming.
Last year it wasn't planned. So this year we're actually planning it, which means everybody will know when they come in. If you want to get to bed before midnight, you might not want to camp down by the Bucket.
No. I think midnight is. No. It was more like 2.
Yeah, I know. And that's going to happen again.
And if anybody knows Chris, when it comes to nighttime stuff, he has no sense of time. So there's no sense of time. You can stay up all night and sleep all day. That's the way it works. So that's just
coffee's at 11.
Happen. Don't camp on the Bucket if you don't want to be up all night.
You need a sign that says that in your new office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee's at 11.
There's got to be a
coffee's at 11 p.m.
So killer music Friday and Saturday with a fun after party Saturday night. Hoping for great weather, so that way we can keep the bands down underneath Big Brutus the whole time. But what's nice is if we get rain or crummy weather, we've got a place where everybody can get in and fit underneath the what would you call that? The gazebo
the
pavilion.
I think it's a pavilion, yeah.
Yeah, everybody can get underneath the pavilion and fit underneath there, and we hire incredibly professional sound guys every year, so they're good enough to make the sound not blow your eardrums out underneath the tin roof. So that's great. The stage backdrop when we do it under Big Brutus is just absolutely incredible, though.
It's unreal.
We'll have lights in this year since the music's going to 11. There'll be a bit of a light show going on, and bring your big blanket and lay it out and just come listen to some killer music. We're also going to have kayaks and canoes available. So our friends at Big Elk River, Big Elk Canoe and Camp, they're down in southern Missouri, not far from you guys. They'll be in with a trailer load of kayaks and canoes, so people can take them out in the pits and go exploring up and down. You can also fish in there. Just make sure you've got a Kansas fishing license when you come in, because there's wildlife and all that stuff, and you want to make sure that everybody gets their money to pay those guys. So let's see what else. The seminar room, last year we just did 4 classes a day. We tried to keep it pretty simple. We're going to up that, so we'll have more educators and more class time, maybe even some more in-depth classes on that stuff too. So keep an eye out for that. The camping's filling up quick. I'm excited to see it. It's cool to see that we've already sold more than a fourth of the tickets, and we haven't even announced the music lineup yet, or the vendors that are going to be there.
Or the vendors, yeah.
Yeah. So
all you did was announce you were having it. That's all you did.
We just said we were having a party.
That's it. We're just having it.
Yeah. So the music lineup will come out probably in the next week or week and a half. It takes a little while to get all that uploaded onto the website. But if anybody wants to check out the bands and see who it's all about, we'll have links to promo videos and stuff like that for everybody to see.
That's cool. I'm really looking forward to it. Hey, so question about the kayaks. Is that you said they're bringing in kayaks? Will you be able to access the water from that property, or do you go offsite to kayak?
You'll be able to access it from the property.
Okay.
There's a
in the very, very back,
right by where the bucket is, a Big Brutus. It's technically a boat ramp that goes in, but the cool thing about it is it was an excavator ramp for Big Brutus to come out. So it's right where he backed out and they parked it. So right in front of there, people will be able. And you can bring your own kayaks too if you like.
Okay, that's where I was wondering. That trailer that I'm building, I'm going to be able to put my kayaks right under the tent.
Oh yeah. And I'm sometimes using another person's kayaks, like wearing a different man's shoe. I don't know. I like mine.
Yeah.
So
great analogy.
Yeah,
I love that.
If anybody wants to bring their own kayaks, then yes, please, you're more than welcome. Just make sure you abide by all Kansas laws and regulations.
Sure. Gotcha.
Well, I was out there for over a day, and I remember, you saying before it started that there's water out there where you can kayak and fish and all that. But I never even saw the water until I went up in Big Brutus and looked out toward the east, and I was like, there's the water. I forgot it was even here.
Yeah,
because we were so busy talking to people and doing the vendor thing and listening to the bands, I forgot the water was even there. I mean, that was just such a cool place.
Yeah,
it's awesome. So the cool thing about those pits, they're 100 feet wide, 50 feet deep, so they're deep. And Brutus would dig those out. What he would do is they'd blow a charge and crumble all the rock, and then it would pull all the trash off until they got to the coal seam, and then they'd come in there with smaller equipment. Still huge equipment.
Everything else is smaller.
Yeah, everything else is smaller. The state of Kansas is a little bit smaller because it's in there. Displacement. So they'd come in and pull the coal out. But what's cool is that that machine, if anybody's looking or has time, look at Big Brutus on a Google Earth map and zoom out just a little bit, and you can see all of the pits that it dug. And I think it's a 13-mile stretch. So from the farthest pit to the first one it dug, the machine traveled about 13 miles I think it was in service from 70, 80, so 20-something years. So
wow,
pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's like new, low miles. So, you know, they'll probably get a good price for it when they sell it. So
it's electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, I can't wait.
Diesel over electric, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. It doesn't, as big as it is, if you get up in there and take the tour of it and see the cockpit about where the guy sat when he drove it, it doesn't look like there's enough stuff that there should be. It looks like there should be like a airplane cockpit, like with 100 knobs and all this other stuff. There's not very many things there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like there's enough there to drive it. But anyway,
yeah, you're right.
It's so cool.
You've
it's
got
really neat. What an amazing piece of history.
4 levers, yeah.
Yeah, just 4 levers. That's all it was.
And a coffee pot. That's all they needed.
It's so neat. So if I encourage everybody to look at and check out BigIronOverlandRally.com. Like Chris said, there's only limited spots available for camping. Jump on those quick, because when the bands are announced and the vendors are announced and all that stuff, those will go out like mama's dressing on Thanksgiving. I mean, it will go quick.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. I'm surprised just how much family and friends of mine are coming that aren't really, I've got family that they grabbed all the RV spots they could. But it's like, they know they want to come listen to these good bands and come see. My aunt and uncle are driving out from Georgia. I've got an aunt and uncle coming down from Iowa, and my brother again, he's flying out from Massachusetts with his girlfriend, and so. Well,
now if you go to a concert, you're going to be spending $85 a piece on tickets to watch 3 bands, and you're going to be getting about 30 hours of music, with all these bands that are coming in. Let's see. So you're getting from 3 to 11, that's 8, and then noon to 11, that's so almost 20 hours of bands in two afternoons. That should cost you $1,000 a piece. So it's a great deal. Plus you get camping, plus you get the vendors and Big Brutus and everything else. It's
and
all
the classes.
The classes, everything.
My main goal for this whole thing is keep pricing reasonable. If maybe next year, if we decide, hey, we want to bring in John Mayer or something like that, we might have to raise the ticket price a little bit. No, he costs $1 million to bring in, so that's not happening. Tickets would be pretty expensive. But I looked at bringing in some. We've got really great bands, but I looked at larger names, and the price of bringing in some of these bands can be easily over $25,000.
Yeah.
Some of them 50. I would have loved to bring in Camp. They charge $100,000.
Wow.
So as it grows and as we can bring more attendees in and all that, then the bands will just continue to grow in popularity. But I learned a neat trick for these things is what you do is you sign bands that you really truly believe are up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you are certain you'll get good talent, and then you'll know, 6 months after the show, hey, wow, those guys are famous. We saw them live.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happened with Arkansas. Not too long after Big Iron, they got signed, and they've been rocking and rolling. They're touring all over the U.S. So
that's what Kara says. My thoughts: don't bring in the big bands; they have their own venues. Let's make the small bands more known and back them. And I
love it.
That's kind of what we're doing. And this you planned this first Big Iron in how long was it between Moore and Big Iron last year?
72 days.
72 days.
Yeah.
And so in less than 3 months, I use this term loosely, threw it together, because you did not throw it together. You never halfway do anything. If anybody knows you, you don't halfway do anything.
That's right.
But the way that it came together and the way that it turned out was so impressive. That's why people are buying into it before they know who even's going to be there, because they know that when you do something, you don't halfway do something, and they know it's going to be good.
That's
and
right.
So it's exciting, and Tony and Porker and I and Joe are going to drive all the way back from Wyoming just to come to Big Iron, and then me and Porker are going to drive all the way back to Colorado, and so we're going to make that trip just to come back for these 2.5 days. And that's, he wants to go and I want to go, so we're going to make the trip. Gas may be $7 a gallon by then. I don't know, but we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But
it will.
It will.
Fly in. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And Kara hit the nail on the head. Rhino. If anybody doesn't know Rhino, he's awesome. He's genuine. He's trustworthy. He's my right-hand man at Big Iron. And he's getting more and more involved in More Expo.
Good.
He was on site with me last week while we were reviewing everything. Rhino's kind of if I get hit by a bus, he's the guy that's going to keep everybody in line and make sure the show happens, because that's my number one thing. I mean, you can't not let it happen. I'd be turning in my grave. But yeah, big props to Rhino and his son too for helping out tremendously at Big Iron.
Yeah, they did a great job. We camped right beside each other, had a great time when he was able to come around, because he was always driving around on that golf cart trying to make sure everything was taken care of so you could do what you needed to do. So
that's where
Rhino's super guy.
Yeah, that's where I met Rhino last year, was at Big Iron. Him and your brother Paul. They were both running around helping and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see that, man. None of this is possible without help and support. And I'm constantly ever grateful for everybody. You guys, just anybody that says nice things about the show. It's like, all right, this is awesome. And I will continue to work to never make a liar out of anybody.
Yeah. Well, we know you. We know you're going to put your heart and soul into it, and that's why we back you and appreciate you and going to support you.
That's right.
Forever. And as young as you are, I believe this is going to be going on for a long stinking time, and I can't imagine, just what you've done in a year or 2 years, what it's going to be like in 5 or 10 years from now.
Yeah.
It's going to, of course, by then, we got to thinking about it the other day, back in the early 90s, late 80s, when we talked about 2020, 2021, we thought we would be driving flying vehicles by now. So, in another 20 years, we may all be driving flying electric vehicles. Who knows? So, but you change with the times and bring it out there and show everybody all the cool stuff. So
that's right.
It's exciting. We are ready for April to be here, ready for June to be here. We got so much stuff planned, so many places to go, and it just can't come fast enough. So I want to encourage everybody to put on your calendars right now, More Expo, April 8th through the 10th. It's going to take place at Ozark Empire Fairgrounds. And he's got it on the calendar back there. Ozark Empire Fairgrounds, Springfield, Missouri. Moreexpo.com for all your information. All the vendors that are going to be there, the classes, the S'more to More rally, everything is on the website. So I encourage you to go to moreexpo.com. And then the Big Iron Overland Rally, June 10th through the 12th. And it will be at Big Brutus in West Mineral, Kansas. So make sure you put that on your calendar. 2 events in 2022 you do not want to miss. Chris, appreciate you coming on, bro. It's always
guys.
fun.
Love you guys.
See you, buddy.
Thanks so much for having me.
You betcha. Next week, we got some big wigs coming on. I'm real excited. Mountain State Overland is going to join us. They just did part of the Trans-America Trail and just came out with a new video series on it. So they're going to be coming on talking with us about that. And also, we're going to be giving away a Lifesaver water filter. So go on to our Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, and sign up to win this. This is a high dollar deal, made very well, and they are super cool. And they have agreed to give one of these away to one of our lucky listeners. So make sure that you go on there and sign up for that. And we will be back next Tuesday with Mountain State Overland. I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
If we can get past this Ice Mageddon that we're going to have again this year. So anyway,
maybe the power will be back on by then.
Yeah, maybe the power will be back on by Tuesday. We don't know. But anyway, thank y'all for being here, man. Tony, I appreciate you being here, Chris.
Yeah, man.
But we'll be back next Tuesday.
Yeah, same bat time, same bat channel.
That's right. That's right. And until then, make sure you enjoy life better than you've ever dreamed of. Look out for number 1 and don't step at number 2.
Brofessor and Friends 2022. Woo-woo.
Thank you for watching.
Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends. Joey the Brofessor and Friends.
Professor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.
Brofessor and Friends.